Okay, let's try this. See if I can get that camera to do better like this. Alright, but what I'm going to show you is, I'm going to show you this jig right here. This here has got a beast hook in it. And I used a plastic brush guard because see it's real flimsy. That's all I use. If I get them hung and lose it, I just tie another on because I tie my own. So, and the way I done it, I just molded this archy jig, and then I just put my pull clips on this beast hook. See the paint on there? Just dip it down in there. And then I use these pieces right here to keep the hole clear and to make sure the brush guard goes in there perfect every time. And then you just take your pliers and kind of twist it a little bit. It breaks it right loose and it comes straight out. And then you got all that room left. See? Look how perfect. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. But look how perfect. Look how perfect that hole is. Alright, and I just did these in this plain black. I'm going to show you the old school way to do this. Put it in the vise. See now, I'm trying to get the camera set up a little better. So now see I won't touch it and it won't move. I'm going to try that. And I'm going to tie it with this right here. That's black 210 denier nylon wax thread, and I'm gonna do this like I always do. I'm gonna put just a little bit of drop of glue. Boy, that stuff's still wet. I'm gonna put just a little bit of drop, one little bit tiny drop right there on the collar. That's just to hold the thread. Now I'm going to put a base on it. See, now I can really go at it. Because it don't move now. The camera shouldn't be moving at all right now. I'm trying to get better at this. It takes time, you know, just like anything else, you got to learn. Alright, now what I use is, this is black. I tore it in half because if you put the whole thing on there, one part of it's going to be real clumped up, and then the other part ain't going to hardly have none. So when I break it in half, it goes around perfect. Then I go to the other side, put the other half on there, and then it makes it all equal. Do you have to tie it? No. I got the tool, I can do that, but my son prefers that I use the tools. That way I can just go ahead and make them up, and then when the fish jerks it off, he can just slide nothing on there. But this way he don't jerk it off. And now I'll show you. This is what I got right here. Look, the old school rubber. I never used all that in my life, and I've been using it for years. Look at all that. I got this spool cheap, and I got about every color they make. And now they got new colors. Now back in the day, they didn't have all them colors. All you had was black, blue, green pumpkin. It was just green, but they called it green pumpkin and all that. But I got all these colors. And it's got like 35 strands on it. And they're real fine. I like the real fine that way because it kind of blends in better. Okay. So anyway, I use one tab of black. And all you want to do is just cover the hook. This is going to be a finesse jig that I'm going to use down here at the local lake. And all I did, I cut this about the same size as the one that you buy already cut and all. Is the way I done this. Because I got that too. My son likes them, but I don't. I don't really prefer the silicone. I catch more fish than he does. And then I put a half a tab on there. And then I turned it over. Now I'm going, and all I do is just measure it up. Uh-oh. That had a bad piece on there. I don't like that because it gets in the way. When I go to take it off, it gets in the way. And then see, all I did was went to the other side because it didn't go all the way around. And then all I did went to the other side. See how nice and smooth that is all the way around? That's what I want. That's the reason I tear it in half. And I prefer it tight. I don't want it all clumped up together. But there's a time and place for everything. And see how thin that is? I'm not gonna make this collar thick like I did on that spinnerbait. And then all I use is one tab of black, and I use a half a tab of blue. Now I don't want the blue on top. I want the blue on the bottom. So I turn it over till I get right in half, and then I put the blue on there. And I just line it up with the rest of it and just wrap it around. And then I put a couple wraps on there so I can look at it, make sure I ain't got none pinched. And I got it halfway around. See, it's halfway around. See, it's halfway around on both sides. Then all I do is lock that in. Just like that. Just like that. That's the way I do it, just like that. See how that does? Now see, you could use that tool and do it that way, if you want to do it that way. Sometimes I take the blue and I just break it apart and I go all the way around. But this particular jig, I just want the blue on the bottom, because I don't want the blue to really stand out like that. I don't want it just to see all that blue. I want the black to blend it in so it ain't like that. Because see, I put the black on there first. Whichever color you put on there first is on the outside. Remember that. Whatever color you put first is on the outside. Whatever color you put last is on the inside. That's why I put the blue on there last, because I want it on the inside. I don't want it to stand way. I don't want it just to be solid blue. I want it to look like it's just blended in with it. And that's all it is to it. That's how simple that was. And then all I do is just put a few security wraps on there. And if you want it to really flare, you make the collar bigger. The bigger the collar, the more flare you got, because you push it up against the lead that makes it flare. I'll show y'all other videos where I make it real bucky. But this particular jig, I'm going down here and fish at my local lake, and I want it real thin because it's a small lake. And I just want to catch her. So this is a finesse jig here. I know that I'm a big fisherman. I fish for big fish, and I usually don't fish jigs like this unless I target spot bass. We got smallmouth, but I don't know what happened to them. We used to catch a lot of smallmouth when I was a kid. I think they all got caught out because people around here, they don't believe in throwing none back. Everything bites goes home. So the only fish left out there is the ones that won't hit a lure. And you got to wait till new ones are born to catch fish around here. Because the only ones left out there are the ones that won't bite a lure. I'm telling you, all fish don't bite a lure. I seen that when I was a kid. They done a test. They had two ponds side by side. And then people said there's giant bass in there, and said they will not touch a lure. But the pond right beside you just wind them in one after another. And I always told everybody, I think they done that because they quit stocking our lakes, and they bred them fish that wouldn't hit a lure, so they didn't have to stock no more. I really believe that. Okay, see, that's all it is to it, just like that. And then what I do, see, I still got the UV resin. I just like to use UV. Everybody's got their own preference. I could. You ain't got to use nothing. It'll never come untied. But I like to put a little bit of UV on there. That's just my preference. Everybody's got their own deal. When y'all watch this YouTube, everybody's got their own deal, what they like to do. And this is just the way I do it. I'm just an old fisherman. And when UV come out years ago, I've been using it ever since. If I go by, I buy lures at the store like everybody else. I can't make all them crankbaits and stuff like that. I make some. And I make videos and show you. I make my own lures too. I don't make them all. But I do make lures. I do make crankbaits. And so you just put a little bit on there like that, like I showed you with the other video. Just take your light here and just hit it about 15 seconds. I mean, I don't know how long 15 seconds is, but that's what it says. 15 seconds makes it hard as a brick. But sometimes it don't. My light is kind of weak, need brand new batteries. It's probably getting weak. Now I know it's getting weak, because when I just went to use it, I laid it over there and left it on all night. But see, it's still working. See, it's still working. But all I did was cost myself to have to go buy new batteries. It's all about buying. I was using them rechargeable batteries, but boy, they rust. You can't use that outside. You put them things in weather, boy, them things rust. I don't know why they do, but they do. And if you leave that in your stuff, it's gonna corrode all up. But like I said, that's all it is to it. And see, it's already hard. But I just want to make sure it got all the way down in the threads, because that UV gets down in the threads, and you got to make sure the light gets to it. Because when you put this on there, you don't let it sit there and soak down in the threads. You put it on there and you go ahead and start hitting it with the light. This ain't to soak through the threads. But just the way I do it, just like that. And look, I'll take it out and show you. See how shiny that is? See how shiny that is? There ain't no white residue. There ain't no white residue all over it. If you put super glue on it, there's white residue get on it. See, there ain't none of that when you use UV. It takes all that out and makes it look pretty. That's all. See how shiny it is? I just like that. Alright, now I'll show you another video I was saying not to pop it. But now you can pop it. See, I just hold it. And see when you pop it, see how it does? Some people take it and pull it like that and cut it. See, you ain't got to cut it. Just pull it and pop it. If you want it full length, don't cut it. You just pop it. And see, this is what I was talking about in the other video. See, you still gonna have these doubles that you still got to sit here and pop. That's why I just soon just go ahead and do it to start with. I'd rather just sit here and just do it as I go. That way I ain't got to sit here and look at every one just to make sure that I got each one of them. Because I don't like them doubles. I know some people like to have thick legs like that silicone, but I don't. I like to have thin legs. I want it thin as I can get it. And see how I have to sit here and just keep going through them and make sure I get every one. I mean, I don't, if I sold baits, I wouldn't do all this. I mean, I do it, I would pull it and cut it and let it ride. I buy baits at the store, I gotta sit here and do that to them. Because you can't just sit here and do like that and sell baits. You won't never make no money. It takes too long to sit here and do all that. So I understand why they don't. That's the reason you can't buy them at the store perfect. I mean, they try to pull it and cut it and get each one to come out best they can, but you still ain't gonna get them all. Cause I bought them at the store, just like everybody else. I bought some to try, and they the same way. You gotta sit here and do like that. See how you just got them big ones right there? But see, as soon as I popped it, they pop right, they come right apart. That's why I was showing you, you can just thump them. So you can just thump them like that. But the way I do, I just grab it like I showed you another, and I just grab it like that and pull it, and just start popping them like that. See how quick that was? Look, every one of them separated. And then I just grab each one and make sure it goes all the way to the where I tied it. Because I want this to have all the movement it possibly can. Because when I use these, I throw it out there, and the way I fish them, I throw it out there, and the movement of the water's always running. All water's a river. So the water's always moving some. The wind blowing moves the water. The river, they got the dam on, moves water. Everything moves water. And just sitting there, it just, when you use the old school rubber like this, when you throw it out there, it's made to throw out there and just let it sit on the bottom, and the tentacles stand up like that, and they just sitting there just doing like that. It looks alive. I don't know why I turned to talking to the camera. I know good and well you can hear me fine. But like I said, another thing, I got to get used to talking to myself. Because that's basically what this is. I ain't got nobody to talk to. And then you got to try to remember every little thing that you do to try to help y'all understand how to do this, how to make stuff that you can't buy at store. Now I know now you got people like, just say for instance like me, I could sell these. I could probably go up here at the local tackle store, and I can make these things and sell them. But I'm not able to sit here and do this all day. That's why I don't. That's why I just make these little short videos, because that's about all I can stand. To make my own, I'm telling you, I'm gonna sit right here. I'm about to make 3 of these, and I probably won't have to make no more rest of the year. I mean, I ain't made none in years, believe it or not. I mean, I know everybody thinks you constantly get hung and all, but I'm gonna show you what I use, and it don't never get hung. And the hook ratio is so much better than using them fiber guards. I got them fiber guards. Now a lot of times I use that on them big thick jigs and real heavy ones. Now I will put that fiber guard on there, but it's because the jig head is so heavy, it'll push it into the brush piles or rocks or whatever, and makes the hook grab. Because it is so heavy. But when you make these light jigs like this, you don't need that that heavy guard. Because all it's going to do is cause you to miss fish. Because that thing won't collapse like that. And then you jerk it so hard, you just snap. I mean, it just you blow it out of the mouth. You just blow it out of the mouth. Because you snap so hard with them heavy action rods, you blow it out of the mouth. Because if you don't snatch it, you ain't got him. Because you got to snatch and pull at the same time. And pull them out of there. Because if you don't, you get a big one, you instant home. She gonna wrap you all up. All right, I think I got them all. Okay. I try not to make these videos too long. See, I just wanted to show you. Now mine's a little bit bigger than you buy at the store. I mean, this is my finesse jig, and you see, it's still bigger than you buy at the store. I mean, it ain't exactly 5 inches or whatever. It's bigger than that. See there, look at there. See how that looks? You see how that looks with that blue at the bottom? And see where I popped it? See where I popped it? You see that? See where I popped it to show you can do it that way? But I wanted to show you why I do it the way I do. See, you still got to sit here and go through it to make sure you got all them undone, because I want all them undone. I want it to look just like that. See how that looks right there now? See the blue? See the blue's on the inside. See, it's on the inside, so that black tones it down. I don't want it standing out blue. I want the blue on the inside. I want blue in it, but I want it on the inside. That's just the way I do it, man. You can do it how you want to. You can catch them on anything. I mean, I make a video and show you I catch them with a popsicle stick. You can catch them on anything, but it's just the way I want to do it. That's just the way I do it. See, I don't want it to stand out. All right. Now, let me show you. And another thing, anytime you use a weed guard, you want to make sure when you put that weed guard in there, it comes straight over the point of this hook. If you just stick it in there and then lay it over there, when you go to fish with it, it's going to be sticking to the side and it's going to stay home. And once you do that, you can no longer fix that. Because you done stuck the glue in there and you done messed that jig up. Alright? This is the way I do it. I just use this super glue Loctite gel. And all I do is just put a little bit right there in the head of it, just like that. Just a little drop. Just a little drop. Just a little drop in there is all I do. It don't take much to hold plastic. Alright, now let me show you. See, I never did glue that in there. I just stuck it in there. I just stuck this plastic. See, I just stuck this plastic in there to show you. And then when I go to put it in there, I get all these little bits. And see, when you pull them all apart and they're real fine, you can pull them down out of the way. Look how open that is. And that's a lot of things people have trouble with right there. And then you want to make sure now you only got a few seconds to make sure you got this thing in there exactly perfect. You see how that's exactly perfect? Straight over the hook. Straight over the hook. See it? It's straight over the hook. So when you bend this down, you see how it just splits that hook perfect. See how it splits that hook perfect? You want it dead in the middle. If you ain't got dead in the middle, one side or the other hits it. It hits that hook point, you blow it out the mouth. It's got to be perfect. All right, that's it. That's the old school jig right there. There's nobody want to show you this because this is what we used when I was a kid, and you can't leave these in the boat. If you leave these in your boat out in the sunlight, and you take that box out when you're out there fishing, and you lay your box out in the sun, these right here will melt in your box and ruin everything in your box. That's old school rubber. They melt in heat. It don't take nothing but sunlight heat. The sunlight heat will melt this in your box. But that's it right there. That's my finesse jig right there. That's a finesse jig. All right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. When I get a 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna show y'all what I caught all them record fish on. I have just caught the state record spot bass. I'm constantly catching records. I mean, I ain't put none in the book and none of that. Because I don't know what you have to go through to do that. I know it's at the Congress to get that in the book. But I'm going to stick it right here so y'all can see how it looks. And see, all my tentacles up and under that weed guard. And then then you got to kind of pull it. Because if you don't, that glue ain't totally dry. Because you hang it up and let all the tentacles hang down like this. This is the way I hang it, just like that. That way I can pull all the little tentacles down when I glue it, because I don't want none of them stuck up there like that. And that's it. That's the old school jig right there. That right there, I bust a 10-pounder. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.